Don't go broke at a nursing home. Yes, indeed. Larry Weiss is with us once again from Elder Advisors. With him is Autumn Schneider, who is the executive assistant at Elder Advisors. So, Larry, first and foremost, there's a lot of information here.
A lot of information, John.
And if you've ever been in the situation that we're going to talk about, then you know there's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, John.
But we don't have a lot of time, so we want to remind everyone, workshops tonight and tomorrow.
Workshops tonight. Don't go broke in a nursing home, Kentuckiana. Tonight, 6 o'clock at the 4 Points by Sheraton. And, of course, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn. Damn, I'm getting to it. The producer's talking in my ear. Do a mic check, camera 5. So, yeah, tomorrow, 10 o'clock at the Hampton Inn in Indiana. And what's interesting is, first of all, I really enjoyed Thunder over Louisville, part of the Wave 3 community. But I tell you what, I feel better now. I'm more of a whole person right now because I'm next to my bud, John Ramsey.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, Ken, the station manager, was walking around, great guy, and Steve, great guy, and everybody. Michael was there. He said, Larry, I can fill John's shoes. I said, baby, you are so wrong. I was a little taken aback by it, but now we're here. Now I'm simpatico with my man, John Ramsey.
That's right. That's
here,
right.
baby.
We're a team, man.
We are
Peanut butter and jelly, pork and beans, Nike and Michael Jordan. We are close.
I'm feeling it.
I feel it.
I'm feeling it. But don't go broke in a nursing home, because the reality is you don't have to. And so often people are resigned to writing checks for $7,000 a month and going broke. You don't have to do that. That's why we're delighted to have Steve Langdon, our guest speaker tonight, as the attorney, to talk about the legal component to work with families so you don't go broke in a nursing home. That's crisis planning. And I'm delighted to have Autumn out with us today because she's the voice of Elder Advisors. Because Autumn, one of her many tasks is basically to coordinate and thread the needle between the appointments for the attorney, because we need to know where the attorney is available, and of course what my schedule is, and also the client, because the client's most important with their schedule. So Autumn really is the voice of Elder Advisors. She pretty much keeps the Rolodex of phone calls and stuff like that. And she's here to sing the praises of Larry Weiss. Isn't he a great boss, Autumn?
He really is.
He's a man of the people.
But you know, something I do want to talk about, because we talk about all the information, that's all important, whether it be real estate, legal, estate planning, whatever it happens to be, but also, and you can speak to this, Autumn, there is a compassionate side, because to connect all the dots and to give you all the people that'll make this easier for you and put your money in your own pocket, protect your assets. Larry is that. I mean, he is a guy who will show up at the home. Talk a little bit about that, because we kid around Larry, but everyone who's come on the show who works with you has told us, no, he's real. He wants to make sure that this is a process that is easier for you. Obviously, it's a difficult time.
It is.
But speak to that, Autumn.
It's definitely a difficult time. I mean, we're not here to make you money. We're definitely here to protect money, save money, and protect whatever assets you might have. And we always like to say it's never too late. But a little bit of what I know more about is the trust side, to avoid probate, to get things started, to kind of protect things for the future, and or to get things protected from nursing home, you know, before it ever even happens. There's a lot of things we can do. We don't really want to get in that today. You can come to our workshop tonight and we would explain that to you.
Yeah, it can be a disaster. I mean,
can be.
You know, because you're getting advice from all these different people, but there's really no one who does what Elder Advisors does.
No, we have no competition. We are the competition. And even though it's kind of crisis planning at the workshop, don't go broke in a nursing home, families are going through $7,000 a month. What Autumn alluded to a few moments ago is the fact that when Steve comes out, because Steve is the legal part, he is the legal component. He is the one that basically represents the families. He, being the attorney, is the one that creates these documents. Oftentimes for pre-planning, and we'll kind of talk about that with our next segment, when Jeff Hurst from Remax Properties East comes out. We'll talk more about the real estate on the second segment, or our next segment. But a lot of times what Steve can do is he can generate different types of trust that for pre-planning, if not completely insulate assets from being in spin down, greatly minimize that loss so they'll never lose them later. It's, of course, Mr. Langdon at the workshop sharing his wisdom. He is a very witty man, full of legal nuance. I think he's sharing it right there with the community right there.
You surround yourself with people who are at the top of the field.
Top talent.
Because I think people need to realize the bottom line is protecting assets. They think, well, is this going to cost me a lot? Not compared to what you will save and keep in your pocket. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, DVR TV tonight, come out tonight for about an hour and a half. You're going to learn things. Keep an open mind. It's never too late. If you're writing checks for $7,000 a month, or you're about to, it's worth coming out tonight. We've got good weather. I did my part, beautiful weather. Tammy's ahead of the ball tonight, already got the workshops up. Tonight, 6 o'clock at the 4 Points by Sheraton. And of course, tomorrow for the Indiana folks at 10 a.m. They can always go into the website, elderadvisors.com. Baby, or call toll-free 855-LARRY55, baby, and get that information so you don't go broke in the nursing home.
Yeah, you've got to stop procrastinating, because if you're asking when is the right time to reach out to
It's
elder
now.
advisors, it's now.
Right.
So we want to show you just how famous Larry Weiss has become, because we had the big thunder broadcast.
I feel a sandbag
here at
coming.
Wave 3 News. and this is Larry. Just watch him in action. It's really incredible.
Have you here, and we also have Larry Weiss. He is here with Elder Advisors, his grandson in tow here. This is the one you were seeing do the Fortnite moves. Go ahead, show us your moves right now. Don't let Grandpa stop you. Let's talk about Elder Advisors, another big partner with Wave 3 News and right here in Wave Country.
You know what? It couldn't be any better today. Wave 3 Country, Thunder 2019. Now, don't forget the ground rules. We had discussion before the show. We can't talk about John Ramsey. I don't want to talk about John Ramsey. No John Ramsey discussion today. But we can talk about the fact that I have this beautiful grandson, and I am old enough to have a grandson, Peyton.
Hard to believe.
Guess what? I think he might be the best dressed up here on the rooftop with that hat. Word up! We love that. All right, so this is where all the kids are at. This is.
I love it. Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that.
Only because it's sincere and very truthful, and most importantly, John Ramsey, from my heart.
Yep.
Right here, baby.
It's mutual, man. This is simpatico, as you
This
said.
is my home, Wave 3, baby. My home.
Autumn, thank you.
Thank you.
And you're smiling because, the guy is genuine and authentic, but he's fun.
Keeps it real.
That's right, and makes the workshops fun. So again, tonight and tomorrow, don't forget now, we'll put that information up again. And coming up here, Jeff Hurst. We're going to talk about the real estate side of the equation with Jeff Hurst of Remax East. He's coming up next with Larry Weiss on Wave 3 Listens, and we are live. Welcome back to the Monday edition of Wave 3 Listens Live. Don't go broke in a nursing home. Elder Advisors can tell you how to avoid that. With us now, joined by Larry Weiss, of course, is the president, CEO, and founder of Elder Advisors, is Jeff Hurst, who is with Remax Properties East. Okay, Larry, tell me about the partnership with Jeff. We talked about the legal side with Steve Langdon.
Right.
This is a whole different area.
It is, and as I'm always want to repeat the refrain, I want to surround myself with top talent. Certainly, Wave 3's heartthrob, John Ramsey, need I say more?
No.
But also for today's heartthrob, for just a few moments, don't get jealous or anything on me, would be Jeff Hurst with Remax Properties East, because I want to surround myself with talent. And what happens a lot of times in the crisis planning, people are dismissive. Well, just let the house go to the nursing home because they're going to get it anyway. And I'm like, well, if you just listen to the nursing home, that's exactly what will happen. But the reality is, if Elder Advisors gets involved, if the only thing they have is their modest $120,000 house, otherwise, the parent, they're single in this example, is ready to go on Medicaid, I'm like, we can do so much with that. So I engaged Jeff. He's basically my Medicaid realtor for Kentucky. Fancy Fulton is my Indiana Medicaid realtor. Jeff is definitely my go-to guy for crisis planning, where at least if the house is sold, we can protect half of those assets. And what's interesting is what I've developed is a program where even if they only have the house, we can engineer ways for the family to keep the house and still very much have Jeff Hurst at Remax Properties East involved in that process. Now, the viewers out there are like, wait a minute, how can you do that? Folks, great question. Come to the workshop tonight, and then at a subsequent meeting, I'll kind of share my, my special herbs and spices, because I'm definitely not giving that out on live television. But there's processes that work with the realtors and with the legal component. But I wanted to kind of bring Jeff in tonight. That's what I was kind of talking about in the previous segment with Autumn, is there's pre-planning things that we can do now. Oftentimes, the attorney, Steve Langdon, will develop different trusts to protect assets for pre-planning, people that may have an issue down the road, where Steve can either, if not completely protect all the assets, certainly greatly protect a fair amount of them. So that's where Jeff comes into play, and he'll do pre-planning with families. Oh, and by the way, we have a special viewer. We have a shout out for Mark Thompson. Correct. Jeff and I'm fan club #1 for Mark Thompson, and you are #4. I'm not just comfortable with you being my backup, so we'll get a couple people 2 and 3. But he's going to be member #4. You're, of course, #2.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Thank you,
Autumn can be #4, okay, for that, #3. But in any event, shout out to Mark Thompson, loves the show. But what we're doing also is we develop pre-planning strategies where we engage Jeff, because sometimes we need the property sold. We're going to convert that asset from real estate to cash, things like that. But at a minimum, the attorney will develop different programs for the families. And Jeff knows the Medicaid language. He knows what we need, and more importantly, he knows what we don't need. Take it away, Jeff Hurst, Remax Properties East.
Yeah, Jeff, every situation is unique, granted, but you can help protect assets on the real estate side, right?
That is absolutely correct. I will go out and decide what needs, or recommend what needs to be done to get that house ready to be on the market at a minimal amount to maximize their dollars. It's an incredible seller's market right now. And it's just, these guys here, I said I was with my parents last year, became a client of them as well. And they were able to protect quite a bit of my parents' assets. Shout out to my mom and dad, by the way.
There you go.
Hey, Mom and Dad.
Yeah,
Mom and Dad Hurst.
So I think there are those who would say, why can't I do this without elder advisors? Because you can't do it if you don't know the rules. There's so many moving parts, like you said. There's insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, real estate, the legal side, and everyone's pulling for that money. You got to know how to protect.
Well, and the other thing is, let the doctor operate. Don't tell the doctor how to operate. Most often, we've got families that will listen to us, but we have some that, you know, their son or their nephew or their second cousin twice removed is a realtor in Arkansas. Suddenly they want to stick their big nose in, and all that does is create problems because we have deadlines and we've got to do it the right way. Not the way they want it done in Texas, but the way we need to do it to conform with Indiana or Kentucky Medicaid. And Jeff knows this. I don't have to train him on this. But sometimes we'll get what we call NCF, non-compliant families. They want to try and do it their way. Well, that's really not going to work because ultimately it has to pass muster with Medicaid. Jeff knows that, but sometimes we have difficulty trying to get through to family members, and we've got deadlines.
Yeah.
Got to look at the watch.
I can't stress this enough. Don't procrastinate, because really the faster you can get involved, like you said,
right,
and then maneuver through all this when people are at a crunch time.
Yep.
And then so it's a process. Now, can you expedite it? Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
But you need the information sooner than later.
And I need the family to listen to me and not argue all the time. So one family is coming to mind that fortunately, unfortunately, Jeff is involved, and Jeff's like, I'm trying to do it, but the other family member's not. And I'm like, they're going to miss a deadline, and then they're going to whine and cry and complain that I got paid $7,500 for the April bill at the nursing home.
That's a big penalty.
Tick-tock. It's a big penalty, but I can only do what I can do.
Yep. Jeff, from your side of it, you said personally you had elder advisors handle a situation with your parents. That made you more invested, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, 3 years prior to going not working for these guys, I had no idea how to work this. Most people don't.
No.
They understand it from start to finish it. And I learned it through the process, but then when my parents became part of it, I really had to peel back that onion and became a part of it. But without these guys to help with that process, we'd have never gotten there.
It's interesting to me that your attorney, Steve Langdon, had also a personal story as well. I think that's the way it happens a lot because, we've got a very intelligent, obviously, realtor here. We have Steve Langdon, who's an attorney, but yet they don't know all the rules.
No, rarely does anybody. I wouldn't expect anyone to know that. Steve would tell you, he was a former prosecutor in Clark County. He's the county council attorney for Floyd County government, and he didn't understand Medicaid. And he saw his brother go through everything and lose everything. I was able to park basically the last $15,000 in the funeral trust, so at least he had enough money to basically take care of his brother later, but for that there would have been nothing put back for a rainy day. And now he's become a student of this, and now he's been doing this pretty much full-time for about 6 years and does a phenomenal job at it every day.
Again, for those who have been procrastinating, putting it on the back burner, I think we all tend to do that because this goes deeper than real estate planning.
It does.
There are life issues at stake here, so we tend to think we're all Superman, mom and dad, they're going to be with us forever. It's just not the case.
Right, it is not, and that's why real estate is always an important component. Never prejudge a situation. Isn't spring a perfect time to list properties at Remax Properties East, starring Jeff Hurst?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Louisville, call the man.
You said earlier the best time to come see you guys is today. It's like I tell people, the best time to have your house on the market is not today. It's yesterday.
Wow.
The buyers are out there, and you got to get these guys to help you start that process.
Yeah, I always say that a good, really economic indicator is the real estate market in Louisville. It's going fantastic.
It's crazy, crazy seller's market. We don't have enough houses, not even close to it.
So if you're thinking about selling, get with
Absolutely,
Jeff Hurst,
give me a call. I'll come see your house.
Jeff Hurst, Remax Properties East, Kentucky, Anna, the man right here.
Yeah.
There.
Well, I like his style because he's nice. He's a humble guy, but boy, is he good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does.
Very respected by his peers. And I would say that for you, but you have no peers.
No, and I'm very humble about it. Don't go broke in a nursing home, Kentucky. Anna, come out to the workshop tonight, 6 o'clock, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Don't go broke in a nursing home. Do not prejudge your situation. Keep an open mind. Try to put off what Gus and Claire said at the coffee club. They may give you advice, but it's well-intentioned. It's probably not correct. Come out to the workshop, 6 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's worth an hour and a half of your time to learn with the right people like Steve Langdon.
You said 6 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
So will there be different topics, or is it basically
pretty
the same?
much, yeah, the subject matter changes a little bit, but it's pretty much geared on the crisis planning, where they've got family members about to go in, or their 100 days of Medicare rehab is running out, and they're being told to bring a check for $8,000 for the month of May. That's crisis planning, but then we also talk about pre-planning, which is kind of what I talked about in the previous segment with Autumn. And of course with Jeff, there's also things we can do in pre-planning so they don't have to have their children go through this in 10 or 15 years. There's things that Steve can do now so they don't go broke and nursing them down the road.
All right, Jeff Hurst, Remax Properties East, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As always, Larry Weiss, fantastic. Again, that's tonight and tomorrow morning. We'll be back on Wave 3 Listens Live. There's Denise Manicky-Ice.
We love Denise.
She is part of the team. Of course, she handles like the Medicare side of it, right?
Medicaid.
Medicaid, I'm sorry.
She's a former
Medicaid.
10-year Medicaid supervisor of the state of Kentucky. She's our secret weapon. Of course, there's the ultra-uber secret weapon, the handsome, dashing Steve Langdon, Esquire, attorney at law for both Indiana and Kentucky. He shows families how to protect assets. I'm sorry, but I'm so partial to that, but it's so drop dead gorgeous. Larry Weiss, your presenter.
Right. And here is the information once again. Tonight and tomorrow morning, obviously in 30 minutes of the show, we can't get all the information. You may have questions. There is a Q&A session too, right?
Always a Q&A.
All right, there it is. Once again,
Yep.
all of the information.
Tonight at
you
6
could
o'clock.
possibly- Don't go broke in a nursing
Don't
home.
go broke in a nursing home, John. Don't do it. You're too beautiful for it, John. Don't do it, John.
And don't listen to Chuck at the barbershop.
No.
Or Ann at the grocery
no.
store.
Come out to us.
Yeah, come out.
Come
once
out
again.
to us. That means 30 seconds in showbiz.
Yeah, actually, we're down to about 10 now.
Oh, really? Wow. So much for my Kellogg's cereal review on my television.
Plug for Kellogg.
Jeff, thank you so much. Appreciate that. You look great in the bow tie.
Thanks,
You look fantastic as always.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and then we'll see you tomorrow for the Tuesday edition of Wave 3 Listens Live. Have a good one.